So, Regina King won Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars for If Beale Street Could Talk, and the film is currently out in cinemas across Edinburgh. Jim, would you recommend it?
Without hesitation, absolutely. I thought it was an absolutely excellent film, and really probably should have got more recognition at the Oscars. So, just to give a bit of background about the film and what it actually is, it's based on a James Baldwin novel of the same name. And basically it follows two young lovers, Tish, played by KiKi Layne, and Fawny, played by either Stephen or Stephan James. I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce his name, to be honest. And basically he is going to jail for a wrongful arrest, effectively, and that's kind of played out across the film, some of the drama behind that. And Tish, his partner, is pregnant with his child. So there's a lot of stuff going on in terms of his wrongful arrest and how they're going about trying to free him from the prison system. There's a lot of interesting family dynamic stuff based upon this unplanned pregnancy and the clash between the two families. And it shares a lot of things with Moonlight, but that's the basic background behind it, and I really found it to be an absolutely excellent film. I don't know what you guys thought of it. We can get into it now, but really I would heartily recommend it without hesitation.
I absolutely loved it, and I remember that when Moonlight came out and heard all the buzz about it and then saw it and was like, yeah, I liked it, but I felt like the opposite happened here, where I didn't know much buzz about the film, and then when I saw it I was blown away. I thought it was so beautiful, and I thought also just in the way that it sort of captured New York and this story and this love story in such a lyrical way. I mean, it certainly wasn't the nitty-gritty that the story was about, but the way it was filmed, and it also showed me his style, like I got more of an understanding of who Barry Jenkins was as a director.
Yeah, I'm going to come in and say I did not like it. I'm sorry, guys. Maybe it's because I just don't like love stories. I'm trying to kind of figure out what it is, but I can't really pin it because, I'd still say, yeah, go see it. You might really enjoy it. And I think it's an important film. It highlights an important issue. It brings into forefront this story that hasn't been seen on screen. Well, that love story has been seen on screen too many times, but from that point of view, it hasn't. But I think the biggest things that I had with it was some of the supporting actors were absolutely horrible. I did not enjoy the script at all. I think some of the parts were ridiculous. I don't think the character motivations were thought through. The characters were just really shallow and superficial, but maybe it's just because I don't buy into love stories.
I could not disagree more. I mean, I think that the first thing, you're quite right in the sense that it's, we talk about this a lot. It's an important film and it highlights an important issue. But I think what really worked about it for me is there's a lot of strands going through here about which the film could easily have focused on in a far less lyrical, a far more kind of gritty way. There's the whole thing about wrongful imprisonment of people of colour in America. That's through there. There's the treatment of sexual assault victims, because of course there is a sexual assault victim related with the crime he's charged to. He just didn't commit it. There's the rather interesting family dynamic between the sort of the working class family of Tish and the slightly more aspirational family of Fawny. But this is all kind of backdrops to it. It's really grounded in the love story between the two characters. And I think the way that Barry Jenkins and his team, including Nicholas Britell, I think it is, who did the score, it's really made it engaging and not in a cloying way. And I think the opening shot, if you go to see it, is really an example of that. It's kind of this dreamlike movement of the camera, and it's really beautifully done. I disagree about the script. I thought the script was very good. I do have one caveat with it, and it's actually slightly different to Annie's. You can tell it's based on the James Baldwin novel, because there are these segments where Tish does some voiceover. And because the filmmaking is of such a high quality, I wanted something more visual from those segments, if I'm going to be honest. And that's what maybe stops it from getting up to the level of Moonlight for me. Like, I felt like we really engaged with these characters, their fears, and in my opinion, their motivations. I think they're quite clear. But there are these voiceover segments which didn't quite work for me. I wanted it to have a little bit more confidence in the visual storytelling ability, and also, you know, the way the music backs it up, of the team behind it. So I think that would be my only caveat of it. Beyond that, I actually really find it quite... And I don't particularly like love stories either, I have to say. Certainly not if they're done in this kind of like very over-the-top, cloying way, but there was something about the way this is shot as well. And I think it's got something to do with the way the cinematography has been done, even the equipment it was shot on, which keeps it from feeling too cloying, too saccharine, and it really, for me, kind of drew me in. I thought it was really excellent. But
yeah, I agree with you in the aspect that the kind of telling the story with words really kind of annoyed me as well. It felt a bit too hand-holdy. It was a bit, you know, the audience is not stupid. You don't need to explain every single thing. We can see it. But do please explain to me, how can you buy the lawyer character? That's the worst performance I've seen on screen in the past 5-10 years.
really?
It was freaking horrible. And the guy who just gives them the flat and his motivation when he's asked, like, how, why? I just love to help people who are in love. Like, someone just wrote that on the script and said, replace this later with something better. And
also, I think the other part of it is they also that part I will concede. That part I will concede, because also they didn't replace it with something. They just put Dave Franco in there,
exactly,
which doesn't substitute.
It
for
doesn't help.
Okay, so who's right? Is it a gritty drama as per Jim, or just sickeningly mawkish as Annie claims? You'll just have to see it to find out for yourself.